Hey guys, this is Mike Tarallo with Qlik, and welcome to video 5 in the series of Getting Started with Qlik Cloud. In the last video, I showed you how to quickly add a profile pic to your Qlik account utilizing Gravatar. In this video, we're going to discuss Managed Spaces. But before we continue, I'd like to clarify something within the last video. We did get a nice comment from one of our community members that mentioned that when utilizing another IDP, in this case they were using Google will automatically show the profile pic that's associated with that IDP, the identity provider. Please note that the video that I showed using Gravatar was just for the trial account or the default Qlik identity provider that is set up when you set up the tenant. And thank you, Marseille, for your comment. I appreciate that. So today we're going to discuss Managed Spaces. In a nutshell, Managed Spaces is a content area that secures content for consumption only. So you can publish apps from shared or personal spaces to a managed space to be accessed by other users who are just going to analyze and consume the data. And I'm going to walk you through that. Now, there is also some subtle differences depending on your license entitlement. As you may know, we have what's called a professional and an analyzer entitlement. A professional entitlement basically allows you to do everything, where an analyzer entitlement basically allows you just to consume apps. So those settings are done within the management console, and there are additional roles and privileges that we can control access to different settings and capabilities and features within the apps. And I'm going to walk you through all of that. Now, to get started, we're going to use the management console. Now, I'm logged into my Qlik Cloud tenant as an admin. If I go to the menu, you can see Management Console, and I already have that tab opened here, so we're just going to go there. Now, in the last video, we added another user, and his name was Donkey Kong. You can see him available here. I'm just showing you that he doesn't have any additional permissions or roles set up. This is a section where you can set up additional group and user permissions. Now, if I go to user allocation, this is where you set up your entitlement. You can see there isn't any entitlement for that user. So I'm going to add an entitlement, select Donkey Kong, and I can assign analyzer or professional. Now, if you're using the trial, you're only going to have professional available. But I'm taking this from the enterprise subscription side so you can see how it works with an analyzer versus a professional. So we'll make him an analyzer, and we'll click close. And now we have the entitlement set for Donkey Kong. Now, as an admin, I'm going to create a new space. I go to the Add New button, and I'm going to select Create Space. And we're going to call this one Sales Managed, and we're going to choose the Managed button. So now this is going to create a managed space, and it brings me right there, and there's nothing there. Now, as a developer or an admin, I'm going to go to Do More with Qlik. And that's the space that we were working on previously. And we have an app, a very simple one we created in the beginning of this series. I'm going to open up that app. So now we are in the app overview. So this is a very simple sheet that has a couple of charts on it. We can make this sheet available to those that have access to a managed space by right-clicking on it and selecting Make Public. So this is a necessary step when you create your sheets and your charts and you then want to publish this particular app. You need to make sure the sheets that you want available for them to see are public. So by right-clicking and making it public, you'll see it moves up to Public Sheets. So that's a necessary step right there. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to the hub. I'm going to go back to the catalog, back to the Do More, to show you all the available spaces that are here. There's the Sales Managed Space, and there's nothing in there. Let's go back to the shared space, and let's take our app, and let's now publish it. Let's choose the space. Sales Managed. You can give it a description. You can put tags there. I'm just going to leave that alone for now. And then we click Publish. So that makes think of it as a read-only copy available in the managed space. So now I'll navigate to Sales Managed. If I click on this app, now remember I'm also the tenant admin, but, and we'll talk about this later, here is the public sheet, but because I'm also an admin or have developer role or the professional entitlement, I have the ability to create my own personal sheets based off of these approved base sheets. And we're going to talk about that as well when we talk about roles that we can set up within the managed space. Okay, so let's add a member to this space. And we're going to go to Space Details in the upper right and select Members. Now, obviously, we're going to add our analyzer user, Donkey Kong. There's a button, Add Members. We can search for those members. I'm just going to type in Donkey Kong, and you can see it pops up. And then there's a number of privileges that you can select just to keep things simple. Now, remember, he's an analyzer, so he's not going to be able to create anything anyway. However, you can allow certain features to be enabled, and we'll touch on that in a moment. So let's just leave it as a restricted view and click Add. Now Donkey Kong has been added. Now I have another session in Firefox where we're going to log in as Donkey Kong. So we've logged into the same tenant. So now you can see that Donkey Kong has access to that app. If we specifically go to the catalog, you'll see Sales Managed. And there's the app. So we're going to click on the app. And there's the sheet. So now Donkey Kong could analyze this data. And it's in the perspective of a read-only or consume-only. So this is the member Donkey Kong with an analyzer entitlement with a restricted view within Sales Managed for the published app. Now, I talked about additional capabilities. So for example, if you right-click on a chart, you can say Show Details, Full Screen, Exploration Menu, View Data, Notes, and Download. If I click Download, you can see the chart can be downloaded as an image or PDF. If I go to the menu up here, you can see I can only download the sheet as a PDF, etc. I'm going to switch back over to my admin of the space. And instead of having a restricted view, I'm going to make a checkbox for Can View. Okay. Now this will say can see content, open apps, but cannot make changes. What this is going to do is it's going to provide additional capability for Donkey Kong when he right-clicks on a chart. So I'm just going to refresh. Now watch what happens when I right-click on the chart. I can share. I can subscribe. I can create an alert. And if I go to download, I have the ability to download the data as an Excel file. And I'm not sure if there's additional changes up here. Yeah, actually there's a couple of things here. There's embed in sheet has been added as well, and subscribe to sheet. So you have a couple of different privileges added when you set up the Can View privilege within the space member. Now the rest of these are other things that you can set up. For example, can publish an app to the space, can manage, can consume. These are more restricted for the professional license entitlement. So what we can do now is let's assign Donkey Kong the professional entitlement. So I'm going to go back to the management console, and I'm going to click this button here and select Assign Professional Entitlement to the Donkey Kong row. And now he's set up as a professional. Well, let's switch back to the Donkey Kong session. And before I log in again, I do want to show you something. As an analyzer, you'll notice that they only can create a note or create an automation. Now let's log out. And we're going to log in and have the new assigned professional entitlement. And you'll notice if I click Add New, we have a number of different content creation capabilities. Okay, that being said, let's go to our catalog and this is the sales managed space. Now, as a developer in the other session, we're going to publish another app, and for Donkey Kong, what we're going to do is now assign a can contribute as well. So assigning can contribute when you are a professional will also allow them to create their own sheets. So let's go back to our catalog. Let's go to our shared space, and we're going to publish this 2023 consumer sales app. So let's open up the app first, and I just want to show you a couple of things that you should know about. So there are some sheets that are public. These are the ones that will be available in the managed space. But if I go into a particular sheet, you'll notice it says duplicate. If I click duplicate, that will make that sheet available as my own personal sheet that I can edit. If I go into sheets here and I right click and say make private, you'll notice that now the button is changed to edit. Okay, so you have the ability to edit that. So I'm going to do that for each of these and then just go into one of them just to show you when I edit it. I have objects called master items, and I will provide a more detailed video on these, but basically these are reusable expressions. It also creates a data dictionary of expressions, measures, and dimensions that a user who has access to the app in the managed space can use these as a governed list to create their own charts in their own sheets. So as long as master items are available when the sheet is published, and if they have the professional entitlement, they'll be able to create their own sheets. Okay, so let's go back to sheets and let's just make a couple of these public. Okay, let's go back to our shared space. Let's publish this app to the managed space called Sales Managed. And now let's switch over to our Donkey Kong session. And you can see there is the consumer sales app. Let's go into the app. Now previously, when I was an analyzer, I did not have the My Sheets section. So now, even though this is in a managed space, if I wanted to create my own analysis based off of these approved governed metrics and dimensions and measures and expressions and all that stuff, including visualizations that have been saved that I can use as my own, I can go to My Sheets and create a new sheet, give it a name, and then I could start using the capabilities of creation for my own personal analysis. So if I just wanted to go to create a new analytics, you'll notice that I don't have access to the full field list in the data model, just the approved master items, dimensions and measures, etc. So let's just create a simple chart with product group and sales. And let's just say this is a particular chart or dashboard that I want. You can see it's available now as my sheet. If I go back to the app overview, if I right click on this, I can actually publish this as what's called a community sheet. In other words, if I wanted to share my analysis and my findings with other users, different from what the base public sheets show, I can publish this. And you'll see it'll have a section called Published by Me. So Donkey Kong, as now a professional entitlement with the can contribute privilege within the space, can now create his own content. But it's not content that's created directly like it is in a shared space. Now, what's also nice about this is that as a developer in the other session, if I go to that managed space and I click on this app as a user, I can actually see Donkey Kong's sheets, and it's in a section marked as Community. So this now enables myself and other members of the space to take advantage of other people's insights that they've created from the approved base sheets. But if you want to see something really cool, let's say we want to include these other contributions to our base sheets. So as a developer, I can take the sheet from the community and copy it, and then I can navigate to the shared space where I'm keeping my analysis for creation by the development team. And in that case, it's do more with Qlik. I can go into my development app. I can paste that sheet, and we'll just call it Donkey Kong's contribution. And then I can right-click and make it public. Now all I have to do is republish this to the managed space. And you'll notice when I click publish, it already sees the existing copy in the sales managed space. We can check it and click republish. And now let's switch over to Donkey Kong, and you can see that Donkey Kong now has his contribution as part of the approved base sheets or the public sheets. How cool is that? Okay, so that's all I wanted to present on managed spaces. I know this video was a little bit longer than usual. I will make sure to put chapters in the YouTube video so you can jump around if you need to revisit things. In the next video, I'm going to cover creating some more charts and visualizations and setting up and styling your sheets. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.